part 4 on El Camino del Rey. What we're going to jump into is the first half. So part 4 is actually going to be broken into 2, so there's really 5 parts. But we're going to jump into what needs to happen weekly. There are 4 major things that need to happen each week. You have your team meeting, you have your one-on-one, you have your pipeline review, and you have your real-world coaching. So we're going to cover the first 2 in the beginning. So first is your one-on-one. One-on-one with each rep is exactly that. It is one-on-one. In the beginning, depending on the complexity of who you're working with. So if you're working with an SDR, solely pipeline generating, this can be 30 minutes. If you're working with an account executive or an enterprise rep, where they have more complicated things they're likely to need your help on, a full hour is recommended. If you're meeting with managers that are reporting into you, same thing. So as you go into the one-on-one, I like to break it into 3 different areas. So part 1 is make sure that they have a sense of your humanity. And how you get that is genuinely care. How's your last week? What's new? What's going on? How's life? Now, where a lot of leaders get carried away is they go and this becomes the entirety of the one-on-one. They talk about sports, they talk about life, they talk about their family, and then there's nothing left. They do none of the other more important pieces. What that ends up leading to is it can be a fun meeting. But you're going to be interrupted throughout your entire week because your rep, if you're a valuable leader, does actually need some help from you. So as soon as you finish the first part, which I recommend ends up being about 5 minutes, you go into, now how can I help you? And then what you do is throughout the week, if your rep is coming up and asking you questions, or your direct report, and so it could be a manager, anybody coming up and asking questions, the first thing you ask them back is, can this be covered in our next one-on-one? What that does is it quickly trains the people reporting into you. You will be mentally available for the one-on-one. You'll be useful. You'll be answering all of the questions that they have to be able to go in and help. And then they can kind of go move on and they don't need to interrupt you the rest of the week. If you don't do this, expect to be interrupted throughout the entirety of the week. So how can I help you? And it's literally anything. How can I help you on deals? How can I help you in managing your time? How can I help you in understanding the product? How can I help you in whatever it is that they need help on? Then you go into, and I usually recommend that is between 30 and 45 minutes. Then you have the last little bit, which is going to be between 5 and 20 minutes, dedicated to how they can help you. This is where you set goals. What are we going to get done together in the next week? And together means you're going to go do your part, they're going to go do their part, and this is where you're going to set goals. Hey, we need you to generate this much pipeline. If they're an SDR, we need you to contact this many leads. We need you to go reach out to these specific customers. Whatever it is, but you're setting the exact target of what you need. Setting legitimate pipeline goals. I expect you to set 4 new meetings if you're selling into SMB or mid-market. I expect you to go break in to this account and get at least 1 meeting if it's an enterprise. And so going in and setting specific targets. You also need to follow up on last week's targets. If you don't do that, it's kind of a wasted one-on-one. You set goals, but then you don't follow up. So you're following up on last week, you're setting this next week goal. So that's the one-on-one, then you end the meeting. The next is we're going to go into a team meeting. So a team meeting, again, I break it up into 3 parts. So the first part of the meeting is welcoming the team, any cool announcements. I like to do a 5-minute training right after you do this. You welcome the team to the meeting. 5-minute training that rotates across the team. And so it can be your rep training you, your reps training each other, you training them, but rotating. I do not like if the leader runs all of these or if one rep runs all of these. This should be divided across the team. Any topic that you want. 5-minute training. What did you learn as you tried to go into these accounts? What did you learn as you did this? Teach us. Then you go into what's going on in the company and how can I make sure that you're all well informed of what's going on. Give them an update on how the fundraiser is going. Give them an update on what's new in the product. Give them an update on what's going on in finance or new hires that are going in made. So they know they can trust you to know what's going on strategically in the company. It also gives them a lot of clarity that you know the details and you want to share it with them. Then you go into team goals and what we need to go and execute as an organization over the next week. So as a team, how much pipeline can we go generate? How many deals can we get from stage 3 to stage 4? What are we going to go get done? I also like to review with the team the forecast for the whole team so the team knows where we're forecasting. who individually is forecasting to go and do really well, who's individually forecasting not to, and how we're going to go help that individual. So there you have it with your one-on-one and your team meeting. Next session, we're going to cover real-world coaching and the pipeline review.